Alrighty. Helps to unmute the mic. Good evening, Luke. Make mistakes. Thanks for coming. Let me mute my phone because I know someone will try and call as soon as I start this. If I don't, I'll put that over there. And Synth Santa, who's that? Make mistakes. Oh, there you are. Hi. Okay. Hey. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I did say that too, didn't I? I'm just like, I'm a little bit out of it today. I have not been feeling well today. So this may be a short stream. Or I may leave and let you chat amongst yourselves and then come back. Anyway. Let's see, any housekeeping that needs to be done. Where is the camera remote? There it is. Let me push this thing out of the way since we're not using that because the birds are off the hook this evening. And just a couple little housekeeping things. I did some changes. Some folks in Synth Seekers... Yeah, that could be it. Thanks, guys. So anyway, a couple of people folks in some of the one of the Discords have seen this, but I made some changes here in the studio. Let's see if I can find some nice way to show something like that. Let's make that as wide as it can be. Okay, so. One of my cameras died just a few minutes ago, so we only have the two cameras tonight. We've got the one you're looking at, obviously, and we have the overhead cam. At least those two are working. And so, change in the studio, like I said, that some folks have seen, is that we now have both controllers set up here in the cockpit, so to speak. Features the sound guns breaking porcelain. Don't know about KnobCon. Probably not. And the reason is I know that I am trying to save up for another trip, which I'll talk about at a later date. And I think Luke is also saving up to try and do that same trip, if I'm not mistaken. But there's this guy there. We made no mistakes. Oh, hey, Eric. Welcome. So anyway, for what you're seeing, I'm talking and rambling, but what you're seeing, this is the top-down shot in the new arrangement. It's not very good. I can't get to certain things that I could, but it'll be better. I'm working on it. I was not able... part of this change is going to involve taking what's over there and putting it over there, and what's over there comes over here. What I'm finding is that more and more I'm working in this area and the area off to the left. So I really want to concentrate on that. And so that is, where did I put the remote? There it is. That basically gives the synths and the DAW area. And unfortunately, the camera is currently as wide as it goes, but that's going to basically be like this area that you're seeing. So DAW area, DAW and control and record and stream, and then the primary live synths over there. And I think that that's going to end up being the core of the studio here. I am going to use the space that's over there that you can't see. I'll be using that for other things, though. And so, whoops, wrong. What on earth did I just do? Huh. I tried to move the camera to a spot, and it's not the spot that I expected it to move to. So anyway, there it goes. So, for those who haven't been here in a while, I've added the KeyLab. The Kontrol S is back in the setup. Of course, the 2 laptops, cameras, all that stuff. And so that's the studio ad. And the reason I couldn't, by the way, the reason I couldn't get these things swapped back and forth is I need to order more cables. Yeah, great rewiring, exactly. Yes, and I know both Luke and Eric have done that time and time again. But I guess I thought I had enough cabling to do it, and a lot of the cables over on the analog synth side over there to the left, my left, your right, are just the correct length to do what they're doing now. So, and other parts of this job that are big, that means that there's a stalk over here behind the streaming or the stream control computer that or stream monitoring computer that there's a stalk there that holds the camera and the big monitor, and there's a platform for something else that I can mount up there if I want. That whole thing has to be dismantled and moved. And when I move it to the other side, the tabletops are not quite strong enough to support it well. So I'm going to have to reinforce the tabletop under where it's going to clamp on the other table. So basically, I'm going to have to take everything apart, put it all back together. So right now I'm just testing. I'll get to it. Things are working well enough. But I would like to be able to have the big monitor over to my left so that when I'm working back and forth between these two areas, that I've got my primary monitor over there. The monitor that gives me all the shots for the camera setups is also the monitor that is my big Ableton Live monitor. I switch between the inputs. So that's that. Anyway, was there any other stuff that I was going to follow up on from last week? I don't remember. If anyone else remembers, let me know. Although if you're watching later in a replay, you won't be able to let me know now. So anyway, can't think of anything else. But again, it's been one of those weeks and one of those days. So anyway, let's play with Pigments and Analog Lab, a little bit Analog Lab too. I've got it wrapped in Analog Lab tonight. So let's go ahead and set up the things here so that that's there, and that'll be there, and we press that button, and we press that button, and you get to see. Yeah, it did work. Of course, I got a microphone in my way now. Okay, cool. So, yep, you get to see the some of the DAW, and you get to see me right now. Just real quick, what's set up? I now have 2 mics in the studio. Back to that, I have my headset mic, which I'm using, and for the I know it's not the right thing to do, but for comfort's sake, I want to start using an open mic a little bit more. The problem with the open mic, and I'll switch over to it here real quick. The problem is, at the moment, when and I forgot to turn the speakers off. Well, anyway, that's another rule we're going to break tonight. So you're hearing a little bit of slapback kind of sound because I've got a pair of speakers over here to my left, or you might be hearing that. Anyway, the problem with using this open mic is not a level problem, obviously. It's a nice mic for that, as far as that's concerned. But when I hit the mute switch to come back in, which I'll do in a moment, it's loud enough. The switches are loud enough that it hits the ducker, like so. So you hear a momentary duck when I bring that mic in. It's not as bad as it was earlier, so maybe I got something straight. Anyway, that's going to be a thing. But it's so much more comfortable if I can not wear the headphones and hear. But again, it sounds a little weird because you're hearing the mic and it sounds kind of hollow. So we'll go back over to this mic for tonight and push this thing out of the way. So anyway, yeah, let's get into some Pigments. You're looking at it, and I suddenly can't hear anything. Let me turn the headphones up and turn the speakers off. And they didn't go off. And I'm not sure why I'm not hearing anything in my headphones again. That happened earlier too. It's being one of those days. A gate on the mic might help. I don't know. Okay, so now I've got the... Wow, this is weird. I've got the mic, the speakers off, but I got nothing in my headphones. Oh, here we go. There we go. These headphones have a volume control that I keep hitting and don't know about it. So anyway, all right, let's get into this. I promised to show. So no, it's not a loose cable. There's a volume control on the headset, and I keep touching it, and moving things around, and it's really easy to hit volume control, and so it goes away if I'm not real careful. I might put some tape over it or something. So anyway, let's get into Pigments. For those keeping score, I do have. Let's see if I can make this work. I do have control of... I want to make sure I put the right things in the right places. I do have control of... Yeah, got it. Good control of Analog Lab within... or from this controller keyboard. And so what I've set up is, what I've been doing is, while I was setting up for this, I'm going to use the KeyLab controller to control Analog Lab and Pigments or whatever I'm working on in Analog Lab. I'll use the Kontrol S for the mix and track selection and mic muting. For now. That lets me not have to jump around quite so much. There's still some gyrations that have to happen with the KeyLab that I'm getting used to. But we'll get there. I'll get there. So let's take a look. And right now, what I promised I was going to do tonight was do this with just using presets and adjusting presets. Because there are some really quite nice ones available, and I picked up a set the other day that's pretty nice. But the one we're doing right now is one that comes packaged with Pigments. This Howls preset. So let me see if I can get this the way I want it. One thing I don't like about Analog Lab that works differently from Ableton Live and from Native Instruments world is that if I set up favorites on one computer, unlike everything else in my world, they don't transfer over to the other computer. At least I've not been able to make it do it. I can do pretty much anything else I want to do as far as exporting, sets and all that kind of stuff. But not quite getting what I want for being able to wholesale say these are my sets and these are my favorites and run them back and forth. So that's kind of a bear, but we're kind of disappointing. But we'll get there, I'm sure. So let's see how to do this. So I want to go to, not that browser. No. Wrong button. Dummy. This is the part where we frustratingly drag our way through something we haven't used quite as much as other things. A lot of the times I do these streams so that I can learn what I'm doing. So I should be able to get into the preset browser, but the whole preset browser, not this thing. I did it the other day and now I don't remember how. All right, well, we'll just do it this way. There's always two ways to get to things. We can go here, and I've already got Pigments selected, so now I can go in and look by my designers, and I want to find what's the fellow's name? La 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 la. They don't go in order, of course. Where are they? I know I moved them over here because I was playing with them the other day. Here we go, tomwolfe. So these, this set of presets that I got picked up from tomwolfe, are supposed to be unique and interesting in that they are binaural, which differs slightly from stereo, or a bit from stereo. It still has the effect of there's things moving differently in different ears and moving between ears and that kind of thing. But they're recorded. The samples that are underlying this sound set these sound sets are recorded differently. They're recording using a different miking technique, and then there's things he's done in the patches that are different. So if you're listening and in headphones, you will notice the effects happen more than if you're just listening through speakers. So one thing I'm going to do before we get into this and start listening to some of these, because I want to use these as kind of the bed for tonight's cast. I want to make sure that I don't have any effects sent, and I have the reverb pretty heavy on the track we're doing right now. So let's get rid of the reverb. There we go. So the reverb is gone, except for what's in the patch. And so what I want to do is find something first to use as a drone. I'm going to use the sequence that's running now to select, and then we'll probably record a new drone sequence. But and one thing I learned today, before starting this, about 10 minutes before the stream started, is that if you're using the KeyLab and you're in Analog Lab, and you use the keys, the buttons to switch between presets, that actually gets recorded or gets captured by Ableton Live. So if you're kind of auditioning tracks and then you play something you like while you're auditioning, and then you want to go back and capture that recording that what you did using the automated capturing function within Ableton Live, it'll capture those preset changes, and so that's a little disconcerting if you're not expecting it. So just one thing that you may need to be aware of so that you filter it down the road at some point. So I'm just going to kind of start going through some of these presets and see if we find something that's going to make a good kind of drone bass for some some ambient stuff. And obviously I've switched patches. That one is real quiet. All right, let's see what's next. Okay, I'm going to turn something off here real quick because every time I turn around it confuses things. The Take 5 likes to take off whenever I start a sequence, and because I'm wanting to be able to control Analog Lab from both keyboards, I have to have it set for all inputs. And if a patch on the Take 5 has got a sequence running, it starts sending the notes for that sequence, which we're bleeding into the MIDI stream for this patch, which was a little unexpected. Yeah, the Take 5 starts on it will take it's fully MIDI controllable, remotely controllable. And I just haven't got that filtered or anything yet. And I'm certain that it can be disabled. I just haven't figured it out. I could one way I know I could do it. I could filter it in. I could probably filter it within the Mio XL MIDI interface and just save that as a preset. The thing that it started playing, the MIDI, wasn't actually objectionable. It sounded pretty nice actually, but I don't want that getting in the way. And hey, I'm having network problems here in the house. Cool. It's going to be one of those nights. So anyway, why is that going spinny? That's not good. So that Air Around Us, this patch called Air Around Us, is really pretty. I like that. So mark that as a favorite. I don't know why I've got spinny going there. It's a little disconcerting. Oops, wrong button. Take a moment for the sequence to kick back to this one. Stream is good. Yeah, that was one thing I was going to wonder about, and I don't know why it has stopped. Here it goes. Takes a moment for some of those long notes to cycle back around in this sequence. It's a bunch of bars long. Oh, that's really pretty. So now I start to wonder if I start see what some of the controls will add. I don't see in this one any kind of filtering in the preset. Doesn't mean I can't get to filter, obviously, but Luke, yes, that's correct. I'm reasonably certain that I can tell it to not do that. I can also tell Ableton Live not to send it. That's another thing that I can filter it there as well. So there's a number of different ways to get around it. In some ways I like to have it on. So there's and Eric, that's what I'm wondering about. Can I still sync without having start stops? And that's something I got to look at. I haven't gotten to it. It's only annoyed me enough that I reach over and hit stop or turn the thing off. So it's not a huge deal at this point. These are all so good. So these binaural pads and textures and things that I got from tomwolfe, they were on sale. He's having a buy one get one 50% off kind of sale, I think, on his website. I am and you know, disclaimer, I bought them. They're, you know, I'm not sent them. He has no idea that I'm even talking about them. So there's, you know, no money change hands, none of that kind of stuff. Just what I felt like playing with tonight. I'm not sponsored by anybody yet, so, and hope never to be, honestly. There's a lot of that one. These are all gorgeous, just gorgeous. Okay, so this next one is as keys, so it's probably not going to do as well as for a backing pad, so I'm going to skip over it. Go to this one. And we wait for the... I'll play something. In fact, let's do that. Let's stop the sequence. And I'll just play stuff. Let's see if these respond to a poly aftertouch. They sure do. Pretty, but not what I'm looking for. That one you got to be a little careful with. Nice sound though. It's a nice one note pad if you're in the right key and scale. Does not respond to start stop. Okay. Well, there's that. So then what happens, Eric, with the Take 5 is that it just, if there's a sequence loaded as part of the patch or saved as part of the patch, if it gets clocked, it's just going to start playing it. That's another one with some built-in intervals in it that don't necessarily match the key. Well, if we turn off, if we disable the clock, then it's not going to sync, right? I mean, how can it sync if we've disabled clock? Unless there's something I'm missing. All right, I'll have to fool with that later. Yes, Luke, and they are separate in the MIDI spec, but that doesn't necessarily mean that. Like I know with the Take 5, when it sees MIDI clock start, it starts playing its sequence or arpeggio, whatever's loaded up in the track. At least I'm pretty sure. We can stop and take a look. Let's see. Let me push all the right buttons. Let's make that happen and that go away for the moment. And while we're looking at me, don't have a Take 5 to stand on. I'm curious. Well, now you've got me, guys have me curious. So let me boot up the Take 5 here. While I'm doing that, I will swing the camera around so that it is looking at the Take 5, which I will definitely not do on air, although I slowed the pans down. And of course, I don't have good light over there tonight either, but we'll be able to see the display pretty well. Let me move this light a little bit. Okay, so. Let me put camera 2 there. And okay, let's dive into the menu. Let me push that. All right, so let's see. We're going to go, and of course now I can't see you guys because you're over there, but I'm going to go into global. Heading for, let's see, not that, MIDI channel all, clock mode in, okay. Clock cable is MIDI cable, clock out is on all, MIDI control is on, which would let me control all the stuff that you can't see, so that I think will have to be on. Should be under clock out settings. Clock out is where the clock in is. Okay. Clock mode. I have clock cable out. So there's nothing under this. I mean, once I'm here, that's the, clock mode is out, so it's sending clock, not receiving. I don't have anything deeper than that here. And I want it to receive clock. The out select. There was a clock mode. Clock in, no stop start. That's probably where it's supposed to be. So probably there. Let's do that. So we got that there. This is back up. Let me turn it back up in the mix. Okay. Go to that for lack of anything better. Okay, so I'm going to hit, I don't know if there's a sequence on this. There's not a sequence in that patch. So let me find a patch with a sequence. Get out of global. Okay. So there is now sequence. Let's get some clock going at it. The drone will start, and we'll see what it does when I hit play on everything. Okay, so the sequence in this did not start. I'm going to try and find the program that I had loaded early. Okay, so that's running. Okay, so I just hit stop, it stopped. I hit start, it starts. And I'm starting on the MIDI controller. So we can try the out thing, although that doesn't make any sense to me. Out. Okay, so that is now sending out clock, starting the sequence. And I can't stop it. Oh, it's in the wrong mode. Yeah, that does not work as I would expect. Yeah, and see now the start stop button doesn't work if I have it in that no SS mode. So yeah, now I can't stop it at all. Cool. Okay, well, we'll just come back to that another day. I will fool with that, get it straight. That's page 13 on the T5 manual. Okay. Yeah, no pens, pencils, and or crayons in here for me to write it down, so I'll have to wait till the... Oh, wait a minute, here we go. Pens. I got a pen. I got a notebook. Okay. Take 5 MIDI clock manual page 13. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. I will dig into that. Maybe we'll have that working by next week. No, I wrote it down, Eric. I mean, I appreciate it. That'd be great. But I've got got it written down. I got the manual. So, all right. Where were we? We were playing with some of these wonderful pads and things. And I still have control of them. Good. You know what, I'm going to go for now just to get something done. I'm going to go back to this one that I liked and liked. Yep, I think that's going to be a great thing to start with. So let's hit myself a new just a new little bit of something there, and I'm just going to kind of noodle, and then I'll capture it later. I am coincidentally, Luke, also working in Dorian tonight. I did not make that. Did not make that decision after your stream this morning. It just happened to be what was in here from the last time. So. So you may notice I'm actually playing some of these what don't sound like great clusters and things. But I was listening to some stuff and looking at some stuff, and I've noticed that, or came to the conclusion that these things don't always have to be pretty, you know? So let's capture all that stuff in. And we're going to make some adjustments to this sound so it plays a little better in as a drone-y kind of paddy background thing. And we'll pick it up there. Or trim this note up to the beginning of the... Good. Take all of this stuff and we're gonna kind of humanize it a bit. And I love these a lot of these new controls in Ableton Live. Let's bring this up here. I want to kind of tame some of these velocities and randomize them a little bit. There we go. That'll be interesting. Okay, so now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to drag this. Oh, daggone it. Yeah, somebody tell me when I don't have the right thing up on the screen. All right, here we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I captured the stuff that we had that I had recorded, looped it, or that I had played, looped it, messed with the timing a little bit, messed with the velocities a bit. So the next trick, I want to make some adjustments to the sound to make it more of a pad than it is. So we'll get this out of the way. And let's see. Interesting. Because those attacks are already pretty long. Oh, this one I need to bring up. And give it some more release. now we have too many notes. Okay, that's cool though. We can get rid of notes. That's easy. Oh, let's see. We don't need that. Shorten that guy up. And that guy over there. So one of the things that, you know, a lot of people, and this was a topic of somebody else's video the other day, that I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. But, you know, so many people make ambient that's always pretty and happy, and ambient doesn't always have to be happy. So, you know, I like some of this dissonance, some of these wrong, air quotes, wrong notes, to kind of make things a little more interesting. So let's get that out of fold, because I want to stick some stuff where it technically may not belong. Drops and occasional pauses. So I'll save it for when you get back, Luke. Let me know when you're back. Back. Okay. So this is one thing that I noticed, have been noticing, is when people's streams go longer, the little, I noticed this on a couple other live streams after the debacles over the weekend, that long streams tend to start getting a little glitchy. And so I think YouTube is still not entirely healthy. Not sure what's up there, but yeah, absolutely. I'm sure, I am certain that it's a YouTube problem. And, you know, just based on what I saw, you know, the thing with Samurai on Sunday night, I really do think that it was coincidental that he had the lightning strike, because at the same time, it took his power out while things were crashing. Just based on, you know, what happened to you earlier in the day and some other things that I saw, and I did a little down detector stuff, and you know, people were complaining about streaming issues with YouTube over the weekend. So I really do think they were having problems. All right, so I'm happy with that as a bed for now. Let's go to another track of Pigments, and click over here. Bring this up, and this time I want to find a plucky thing. And I've got one in there that I was fooling with earlier, which we may just use in the interest of time, but I have to switch tracks to that one. I do that, enable it for playing on the keyboard. Why is it not playing on the keyboard? Oh, because it's turned down. That'll do it, dummy. Oh, it's still got the sequence that I was fooling around with earlier. Let's just make it go away. Put myself here. Let's come up an octave. That'll do for a start. Do the thing. Put that there. Way down in the mix. So I wonder how I'm doing in time as far as on the beat kind of thing. What would happen if I put some rhythm with that? This is kind of the experimental way that I go through doing a lot of stuff when I'm making stuff. Let's get that out of the way. We're going to add. I'm just going to grab a clip for now. I don't want any of that stuff. We'll start just with Core Kit, just to see what it sounds like. First one I did was actually the best. So what's interesting about that is that, whoa, we don't need anywhere near as much of that. Let's turn that puppy down. All right, say hi to Sarah for me when you get down the other end of the hall. That kind of made some of my timing sound really kind of funky on the little notey thing. So let's redo that maybe. Here. First, I'll just start trying grab all these things. That's kind of interesting. I don't necessarily dislike that. Let's get back over there and see if we can do some fun stuff with a better patch. So this time we're going to want leads, plucked leads. Good, we're in the right spot. And we are in Pigments still, so let's see what we got here. That's not it. Whoops, wrong button, there we go. Yeah, that's a mono. Far stab, that is. Yeah, I like doing that, Eric. I like pulling a lot of times. I either want the drums to really be driving, but not so much for ambient. For ambient, I like them back, and I haven't done it yet on the track, but I'll feed them into the reverb pretty heavily. In fact, let's get that feel going. That'll only take a second. Slide this. Whoa, don't do that. Slide that out of the way. Pop over here. And so I'm going to want that into send A, which is this track. Interestingly, they're so far back in the mix that I got to put the reverb up like all the way. Hear anything out of it? Oh, I know why. Dummy. I don't have that set up, drum set up right at all. Yeah, they're going to go wait for a second. And then we'll do that. Still don't get much out of the reverb on that. A little bit, not much. I could probably drop a reverb right on the track. Let's do that. In fact, what I'm going to do, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull that reverb off. I'm going to get a different reverb. Grab here. Go to Effects, VST3, Variety of Sound. I'm going to put the plate on this, on these drums. Give it a nice nice long decay. Make it a little wetter than I usually would. A little pre-delay on that. I wonder what the overdrive sounds like. Leave that for now. Okay, back to this guy. Oops. Click there. Oh, I know what I was going to try doing. Let's get out of here. And let's go to here and to here. And let's see. How does that work? Stuff I haven't played with enough yet. Turn on the generators. And oh, I don't know if I want to mess with any of that or not. That's not what I wanted at all. Yeah, don't want that. Okay, let's do this a different way. Let's do a... Where are they? Where did they move them to? MIDI effects. Arpeggiation, throw in there. That's fun. There's a fly in my room. All right, I want to add another track now. I want to do, of course, there's no apparent order, but let's add another MIDI track and stick it back over here with these guys. Let's get these things in order. Here we go. MIDI. Gonna grab another analog lab. Here to plugins, instruments, Arturia, analog lab. Pop that on there. Nice, there it goes. Get that out of the way for the moment. Go to sends only. And the other thing, I'm using all these sends for all this. Because this is the way my ducking bus works. That's all. If I were just doing this an ordinary session, I wouldn't have all this going on. Okay. Now I also know that I promised Pigments, but I'm going to deviate on this one. I'm not going to do Pigments for this. We're going to do... to do, because I'm on a kick, I'm going to do this Minibrute. Minibrute guy, and I want soft leads is what I want for my type. Okay. And do I have the right thing up? Yes. Yep, okay. That does not seem very soft to me, but okay. What do I know? We don't need anywhere near that much volume. What I want... I may not find what I want in the leads. Because really one is a paddy thing that's something I can put up higher here. Let's do... Oh, this one's beautiful. Okay, that's pretty. I like that. Still some tension in it, but and all those filter sweeps are aftertouch. I didn't do poly aftertouch on this, but that's all aftertouch. All right. So that's a nice thing to chill over, or chill about. It's warm enough here in the studio, I can just listen to this and go to sleep. Get a little bit of that blippy thing out. I think actually I've got the basis of a nice track here. This will probably get finished up, and turned into something. I'll actually take all this stuff into the arrangement view and break it up, move it around, and then add some leads over it later. Wonder what this looks like in what kind of space we're taking as far as the frequency responses and whatnot are concerned. Let's see. I should have span on here already. I do. Let's take a look. Whoops. Come back. So it should probably have some more energy in the high end. Nothing fancy up there, though. Or a little less in the low end, maybe. That's easy to deal with. Let's see, all that low end stuff is coming off of the drone mostly, so let's back that out a little bit. And then I end up with too much plucky. So here's where I'd start getting into recording automation and automate the mix some, move things around. Let me show you what I'm looking at. So you can see the frequency distribution is pretty heavy in the low end down here, and that's all this drone. Get in here and start making sure I have the right tracks first, but so I can use the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so those instruments are just on 5, 6, 7, and 8. In DAW mode. Wonder why I'm not mixing. There it goes. I had to grab it, that's all. I got a little spoiled by the encoders on for mixing on the Kontrol S, because there's no lag while I catch up to the fader position on the hardware to the fader position on the in software. Move that a little bit. So when I start moving a fader, if it's like if you notice this fader here where my finger is, that's the drums, and it's almost all the way up, but drums are way down here. So as I move this fader, it's not going to do anything the way I have it set up until I catch up to that point, at which point it'll start to move the fader in software. Yeah, so the reason I knew that was going to be a thing, and it's just going to be getting used to it. I've got it set in latch mode now, so I've got it in latch mode now. I could put it in scale mode so it starts moving right away, and it's just a matter. I only got this working correctly 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, somewhere, a week and a half, something like that. So I'm still getting it set up the way I want it, meaning the KeyLab. And I specifically decided to get the KeyLab because I wanted to be able to, I wanted tight integration with Analog Lab and the Arturia software. So that the KeyLab gives me that tight integration. The Kontrol S gives me the tight integration with Native Instruments stuff. And in the long run, even though I've got more physical control on the KeyLab, let's get this where I want it. Come on. Go somewhere. There we go. Even though I've got more, whoops, wrong input, dummy. Even though I've got more physical control here than on the NI, the key bed on the NI has poly aftertouch. So in the long run, these two are going to swap. Because I can see I'll be able to see, once I make a couple adjustments up above where the laptops are, I will be able to see everything I need to see on this in that upper position. I'll have the better key bed down here, and then I'll have the better mixing controls from the better track volume controls from the NI down here if I want. And I have, sitting over there collecting dust, I have the old, push the right buttons, dummy. I have the old Behringer, the old BCF 2000, which is, what the X-Touch was born out of. I don't know, I should hook it up, I guess. I don't know how its motorized faders are going to react to Ableton Live. That may be a project for the week. And see how that's going to work. If that's going to work right out of the box, then I can switch to that for mixing. Because that's really nice. I mean, the X-Touch is nicer by far than the BCF, but I own the BCF already. and I can set it up so that it gives me transport control on it if I want. But really, all I'm interested in is faders. And I wish I still. I also used to have the BCR 2000, which was the 32 knobs, and I got rid of that. And I wish I hadn't, because that would be insanely useful at this point. I'd have all kinds of control of stuff, and you know me from the Discords. I like to be in control of my stuff. So maybe I'll look into either picking up another one of those used, or some other, thing that I can twist. The other thing that I can do, it's just very tedious. It's very tedious to do, but on the Polybrute, every knob sends and every function receives. So I mean, I could map the Polybrute as a controller, and man, but I have plenty of knobs and stuff. I'd have 3 discrete sets of ADSR, and 3 different LFO sets of controls, 3 different sets of filter controls, the 2 individual filters in the master, level controls. I mean, I could control pretty much anything that I would want to, but man, the setup for that would be tedious, because I don't want to change any of the functions, the CC assignments and NRPN assignments to the controls that are on there now, because I don't want to break the way it works with their software. But that's another thing I could do, if I were when I become so inclined. The other thing that I have toyed with is getting with the 21st century and getting myself an Arduino, and trying to do something of my own controller. And I mean, that shouldn't be insanely hard. I mean, there are all the libraries are already written. You just have to kind of plug them together, and let the libraries know what they're listening to. But yeah, projects. I like having projects, so that'll be fun. But yeah, maybe by next week I'll get the BCF out and get it wired up and see what it does. I think it's going to be a slow work week with the holiday and everything, so I should have time to play with that. Lack the room for a project like that. My studio is full. Well, so I mean, I've got the project table over here where I can do all the experimenting and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, like you, it's I don't know if I can get this thing to go full wide. Let's start. I changed some of the presets when I moved the camera presets, and I obviously lost one of them. But let's go here and go. I mean, I can't show the whole studio. I've shown some pictures of it on the Discord, but I mean, my workspace is, for all intents and purposes, my cockpit, so to speak, is going to be is that. So there's this table, which I think is about 7 feet long, 6 or 7, about 7 feet long, and then we extend over here. We extend over here to the sides to pick up the. And sorry about the camera moves. I don't have a great controller with it. Just using the remote, handheld remote. But So I mean, that's really the space. Anything else? I mean, there is other space in the room. I mean, but there's bookshelves full of stuff, of books and other stuff, and there's the space behind me, which is very dark right now, so I can't really show it. But the space behind me is more shelves where I store cables and all that kind of stuff. Extra cables, extra power supplies, all the stuff. And honestly, I don't want to. I don't want a space any bigger than this. Just because I kind of know that there's going to be a time when I'm not going to have this space, and the space that I will have will be smaller. So my goal kind of is to get myself into a very compact situation that will fit reasonably comfortably into basically an office cubicle. And so I need to get myself trim and organized and into that little amount of space. And I think that's quite doable. The other thing that I do a lot of pre-composition on another laptop, and the way I'm set up, that when I save something from a project from the other laptop, basically I walk down the hall and I can walk into this room and everything is basically ready to go. I just have to reassign what controllers, tracks are getting stuff from, and pick up where I left off. And I'm probably going to get a backpackable keyboard controller that works properly to use with that. And then anything else that I keep would be able to be stored in a closet and pulled out for specific sessions. So the idea again, it's like, the space that I'm in, which is like 7, maybe 8 feet total long, and spinning around here maybe 6-ish feet. So a space 6 by 8 or 6 by 9, which is I think office cubicles might be a little bigger than that in a lot of cases, or in many cases. But that's the goal, or a goal, is to get that compact. And I'm actually looking forward to that because it'll let me compose and make music out and about, and then come back to the studio workroom to finish it up. And I think that's going to be, I'm going to become a lot more productive that way. The other thing that'll do is I won't have space for much in the way of more synthesizers and more gear, which I know is, kind of heresy or something like that to say that, but, I kind of need to cut back on how much stuff I drag in, or have dragged in. Need to become more nimble. So, anyway, I think that's going to do it for me for the night. We're pretty close to it. We'll let this, I'll put up the title slide again and let this kind of just waft away for a while. And we'll see what I come up with for next week. So anyway, for those of you who haven't already, I'm always encourage people to, subscribe to the channel, like this video if you did, visit my website. There's lots of cool stuff. Thanks, Eric. Glad you were here. And this is a process. I don't necessarily have one process, but this is kind of the process that I'm adopting for the more ambient side of things. The more, I'm not sure how to really do, the more synthwavy, synth pop, it's not that. The stuff that I released 7 songs in the last 8 weeks, and they're not ambient, they're not this. The process for doing those, the electronica stuff, is a bit different. But everything does generally start with the pad, the atmosphere, and I build around the atmosphere that I create. and it goes from there. The sounds tell me what they want to be. I don't go in with typically any preconceived notions, except that I might be working on a genre, or I might decide I'm going to work with this kit. So, hey, Luke's back just in time for me to say goodnight. I'm not gonna roll back and do the whole thing. Yeah, good night, Gracie. Thanks, folks, for coming. I'm gonna let this little ambient thing I got going run for a few minutes, and then I'll fade away into the night. So again, thanks. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you in a week. Back here, same bat time, same bat channel. And I wasn't ready to do the transition. Okay, here we go.